we're going to be solving equations that have an x squared exponent on it. So I'm just going back to a real basic one. If I know that x squared equals 81, well, some number times itself equals 81. Opposite of squaring something is square rooting it. That is what's going to isolate the x. So when you see an x squared or a variable squared, square rooting it is what's going to isolate it. So we have to do everything on both sides. So if you do something to one side, you have to do it to the other side. So the square root of something squared, or the square root of x squared, is just x. And then the square root of 81 is 9, which we know. But we also talked about that each number really has two square roots. We don't always talk about both of them, but in this case we're going to, because I can also take, instead of 9 times 9 equaling 81, I can also take negative 9 times negative 9 and get positive 81, because a negative times itself is always positive. So I could say that x equals 9 or negative 9. Here's a super easy way to write it though. X equals plus or negative 9, positive or negative 9. So that's technically two answers that I wrote there. So whichever way you prefer, you can write them separately or you can put them together as just one number with a positive negative in front of it. That's going to insinuate two answers. So let's do another one together. So x squared plus 15 equals 40. So I have to get the x squared by itself first. So just like we always do, we're going to do opposites. So on the left side, I'm left with x squared. On the right side, I'm left with 25. And now all I have to do is the square root on both sides. And we know that 5 times 5 is 25. And we also know negative 5 times negative 5. So x equals positive and negative 5. As long as a variable has the same exponent as another variable, they are still like terms. So I can combine those. 7x squared minus 2x squared. Oopsie. 5x squared minus 10. Now I just go about my usual trying to get x squared by itself. So I want to get rid of minus 10 by adding 10. So 5x squared equals 500. Divide by 5. So don't do the square root till you're at the very, very, very end. So then x squared equals 500 divided by 5 is 100. And when I square root to get rid of the exponent, I get x equals positive or negative 10. Oops. Okay, let's try one last one. This one's got all kinds of x squareds in it, so let's start with our distributive property. So I get 12x squared minus 24. And then I'm just going to copy the rest. I'm going to combine like terms. So 12x squared plus 1x squared is 13x squared. And now I'm going to start moving things around. So I want to get the x squareds together, but since they're on opposite sides of the equal sign, I'm going to pick one and do the opposite. So I'm going to decide to add the x squared to both sides, just to the like terms. So I'm going to ignore the 32 and the 24. These guys cancel out to 0. I have 14x squared. So a little review of variables on both sides. Now, since I put the x's on the left-hand side, I'm going to get all the constants which are numbers without variables, to the right-hand side. So now I have 14x squared. This cancels out to 0. 32 plus 24 is 56. And when I divide, 14 actually goes into 56 4 times. So, x squared equals 4. And when I square root both sides, x is just equal to positive or negative 2.